The First Amendment is on the march, and in breaking news, Judge Friedman has just entered a new order against the Trump administration and its Department of Defense, finding that its new policies to try to bar and ban are as bad as the prior guidelines that he already blocked, and they violate the First Amendment, they violate the Fifth Amendment, and has ordered the New York Times, 6 of its journalists, including Julian Barnes, get their credentials back. And then at the bottom of this was their First Amendment freedom of the press to be able to ask questions that they want to ask, to obtain information that they want to obtain, and to freely roam the halls of the Pentagon without escort, without and your cell phones will work. No, Judge Friedman. And it started, and your cell phones will work. No, Judge Friedman. And it started his decision. So remarkable things we're seeing during this administration with federal judges. Starting off with quotations from the framers and the founders and the writers of the Federalist Papers and George Washington's personal writings. And this time, Judge Friedman started with the First Amendment, of course, and the exact quotation of it. And then had a powerful conclusion as he entered yet another order, finding the Pentagon in violation of his last order, and ordering that the Times get their credentials. First Amendment is on the march. You're on legal AF. Let's kick it off with this breaking news. Here's what Judge Friedman, now the second time around, has ordered. Now, the Pentagon just said, well, we changed the guidelines. You didn't agree with your original order, finding that it violated the First Amendment because it was viewpoint-based discrimination. We don't like what you're writing, so we're going to block and ban you. We're not going to let you disclose even not confidential information. We're not going to let you ask questions. And if you know that the answers to those questions are somehow classified, you mean you're not going to let me be a reporter? You're not going to let me be the fourth estate? You're not going to let me have freedom of the press? We have concepts that protect reporters, right? In this area, the language of the First Amendment, a Supreme Court precedent and concepts that also protect reporters. Let's start with Judge Friedman's order, which I posted in Legal AF Substack for you to read. Opinion. Proposed by Congress in 1789 and ratified in 1791, the First Amendment to the Constitution provides, Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise.
You too, Penelope. I hope you're doing good out there. Have a good day.
Or of the press. First Amendment empowers the press to publish what it will, and the public to read what it chooses, free of official proscription. In the words of Justice Black, free press protection it must have to fulfill its essential role in our democracy. The press was to serve the governed, not the governors. The government's power to censure the press was abolished so that the press would remain forever free to censure the government. Only a free and unrestrained press can effectively expose deception in government. And paramount among the responsibilities of a free press is the duty to prevent any part of the government from deceiving the people. I take my First Amendment rights, my freedom of the press seriously here on Legal AF, that we're going to censure the government, that we are going to provide information for the governed and not the governors.
Yeah, I hear you.
To allow the government to deceive the people. That is in our DNA. That is our business model.
I used to be a forklift operator, so I completely understand.
The parts that are important. And this is how he ended. The eloquence that federal judges are now required to command in order to defeat this Trump administration is mind-boggling. I mean, I've been doing this for 35 years. I've read thousands of decisions and orders, including to prepare for Legal AF. I've never seen historical references to George Washington, John Adams, Jefferson, and the framers and Alexander Hamilton like I see today. Here's how the judge ended it. The court cannot conclude this opinion without noting once again what this case is really about. The attempt by the Secretary of Defense to dictate the information received by the American people.
No problem.
To control the message.
I'll try and have fun. Try and be safe out there, Penelope.
Want them to hear and see. The Constitution demands better. The American public demands better. Over the past few weeks, the court has received dozens of letters and postcards from people across the country explaining what the First Amendment means to them. To quote one such letter, a free press is essential to the success of our democratic republic. The people are the government. They cannot make two well-informed choices without all the facts. A free press is an excellent place to start. That's from somebody who wrote into the journal. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Every single time I sign my name, if somebody's in front of me or something, I say, I have chicken scratch. You ain't hurting my feelings. I write like shit.
With the issuance of the interim policy, the department has invoked slightly different language to achieve the same unconstitutional result. The curtailment of the First Amendment rights is dangerous, and is especially so in a time of war. Suppression of political speech is the mark of autocracy, not a democracy, as the framers recognized when they drafted the First Amendment. And I was put the New York Times and therefore all of journalism back in the game, back in the Pentagon, back in the correspondence corridor to reopen. He basically used a can opener or reopen a shut tight Pentagon. And for those that have forgotten how you can, where did Pete Hegseth even come from? I know you're thinking, like under a rock, or a rock moved in the middle of the night out, pop Pete Hegseth. He was, I would call him a reporter, but he got paid to exercise his First Amendment speech. He writes books, they're all terrible. He's been on Fox and Friends Weekend Edition, spouting some sort of nonsense, sort of Christian American patriotic nonsense, but he's allowed to spout it, and I'll defend his right to spout it when he finally is removed from office. However, you are not allowed as the head of the government, in the form of the government, to suppress First Amendment speech and freedom of speech. And thank God, and fill in the blank, if you're not a religious person, which is great, also allowing the First Amendment. For Paul Friedman, senior status judge, a Clinton appointee, he didn't want this particular moment in time, but he is stepping forward to protect our democracy. To answer the question, we don't want history saying out loud, where were the lawyers and where were the judges? Where was the legal AF audience? We know where you are. You're here with us. What's going to happen next? Trump's not going to like it. They keep playing around with the policy, right? Chastising the judge. We don't agree with your policy. We're going to change it. You know, here's what the judge said on, we read pages 9 over to 10. It is ordered. Page 9, nor can the department accepts to circumvent the court's injunction and expect the court to turn a blind eye. And that is exactly what the defendants have done by closing the correspondence corridor and imposing an escort requirement. The court's order requires the department to restore the plaintiff's access to the Pentagon. Rather than comply, the department has cut off all of the holder's meaningful access to the Pentagon. When assessing a litigant's compliance in the posture of enforcement motion, a court need not accept a dubious liberal or literal interpretation of the injunction, particularly where that interpretation is designed to evade the injunction's goals, or believe them really at all. At bottom, the defendants, this is on page 10, asked this court to hold that so long as the department did not reinstate the exact words of the challenge provision, and so long as it restores the Times reporter's physical credentials, here's your badge, it's not enough. If the department immediately uses new words to do the same thing, too bad. The plaintiffs need to start over again while the court stands idly by. It's a game of whack-a-mole, the judge said. He also says in footnote 5 that he gives little credence to a last-minute affidavit by the deputy press secretary, Joel Manuel Valdez, about how the thing will act and how they will impose the new policy in practice. The court gives little credence to the assurances, Judge wrote, of Deputy Press Secretary Joel Valdez, that the department will enforce the interim policy only upon a complaint by a department employee. The plaintiffs correctly point out that the proper interpretation is not grounded in its text. That's not what it says. And in any event, the court struggles to see how the enforcement regime that Mr. Valdez promises changes the illusory nature of the requirement. And also, he goes on to say that he has no reason to trust that the officials will not follow the express language, even though Valdez says, don't worry, we're not going to follow the exact language. Here's what it says about how this Pentagon complied or didn't comply with the court's order. It says on page 15, in its March 20th order, the court directed the defendants to immediately reinstate those credentials to Julian Barnes and 6 other Times journalists. Before doing so, he carefully considered the defendants' arguments. The department did not comply with the court's order. Rather, the very next business day, the department announced it was immediately closing the correspondence corridor, the area in which, for the Pentagon, the journalists had worked for years, and that they would instead be placed in a space outside the Pentagon building. Actually, outside the Pentagon building, in a building that's not even built yet. And then he called the rest of their argument nonsense. This is going to be fast moving. Trump administration is going to try to do something at the appellate court level, which for Judge Friedman would be the Federal Circuit Court of Appeals. We'll follow it here on Legal AF. Take a minute, hit that free subscribe button for the breaking news that you. Welcome to a very special edition of Legal AF. It's time for our update about bombshell new news in the Epstein scandal and the Trump administration's continued cover-up. We were going to do a video and an interview with a client of mine, an Epstein survivor leader, Lisa Phillips, focused on Pam Bondi, trying to weasel her way out from under an oversight committee hearing, claiming that, well, I'm no longer the Attorney General, it's my name and Attorney General under it, so I don't have to testify, right? Wrong. And the Democrats are strongly opposed to her efforts to try to wiggle her way out of it, including raising the specter of a contempt proceeding against her. That was the news 24 hours ago. Now we have the breaking news that Melania Trump, obviously being at the direction of her husband, has decided to step forward and say one of two things to the American people. I have nothing to do with Epstein or his plane or his island, but there should be hearings, the survivors should be heard from, and I am supporting them. So now she's going to be the face for the Trump administration of the Epstein scandal and its resolution, Pam Bondi having failed miserably at that task. And I can't think of anybody to brief the audience better and get her reaction than Lisa Phillips. Hi, Lisa.
Hi there. Please have you on.
Thank you for being always on with us. We were preparing for one interview concept, and as we came on the recording session, we have Melania Trump trying to be the face of this scandal. I don't know what they paid her to do it, to step forward. And we always said, I don't know what the survivor's position is, I want to hear it from you. We were doing the where is Melania all of this stuff? Where are the strong women, supposedly key advisors for Donald Trump? He apparently has 2, Susie Wiles, chief of staff, and Melania Trump. But where has she been all this time? Now,
2.
Just to show that this is not completely generous or charitable by Melania Trump. There is a major lawsuit going on right now with journalist Michael Wolff, in which Michael Wolff had made claims in various interviews and in his own writings that Melania has a connectivity to Epstein and Donald Trump, not necessarily to the pedophilia, child sex trafficking, but certainly the relationship of models, Epstein, Trump, and that type of thing. She never liked that. She threatened Michael Wolff with a $1 billion defamation case. It's sitting at a federal judge's desk right now. What happens in that case? And now, after the debacle of her documentary, that went nowhere, she's decided to step forward. In fact, before you comment, let's show our audience what we're talking about. Let's play the first clip of Melania Trump today.
Cautious about what you believe. His images and stories are completely false. I'm not a witness or a main witness in connection with any of Epstein's crimes. My name has never appeared in court documents, depositions, written statements, or FBI interviews surrounding the Epstein matter.
There are literally pictures, millions of pictures and videos of you with Jeffrey Epstein.
I was never involved in any capacity. I was not a participant, was never on Epstein's plane, and never visited his private island.
You literally have to look down to read that?
I have never been legally accused or convinced of a crime. in connection with Epstein sex trafficking, abuse of minors, and other repulsive behavior. The false smears about me from mean-spirited and politically motivated individuals
Oh my
and entities
fuck.
looking
What a
for
slap in the
profit
fucking
from
face to fucking survivors. Holy
and
shit.
crime must stop.
Well, there's a couple of things that are misstatements there. She said she's never been convinced of a crime.
Holy fuck.
She leaves out her relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell, and there's photos all over the place of the relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell and Donald Trump. And Michael Wolff has said, and this is his testimony, if you will, that she was on point. Be that as it may, that's how she let off the press conference. And now the reporting is, Lisa, that she's stepping forward to protect the survivors and demand justice for them. What do you make of this?
I think when it comes to Melania, I was always wondering why she was silent. If she, being the president's wife, she can't go against him and stand up for survivors. But what I see her doing here is actually standing up for survivors. I thought this would have been something.
Jeffrey literally fucking introduced them to.
What do you say?
What?
Testified under oath.
Jeffrey was at Trump's fucking wedding.
Testimony that means survivors have to tell the truth. So that would support.
You're gonna stick up for fucking Melania?
Further support what the public wants to know is that there was other men involved. So it's hard for me because I come from the modeling industry. I started in Europe, and I know a lot of Eastern European fashion models, and I know that a lot of them were brought in through this sex trafficking network in the modeling business, giving their visas. And I don't know how much of her background being Eastern European and brought in this way, how much of a victim she was in the beginning, or if she had nothing to do with it. So I'm not sure. I don't think I feel as strongly as you do, and others that are more politically motivated to put her with her husband. I feel like she's her own separate person, and that she, coming from her background, probably was more silenced and didn't say or stand up for this. But I feel like in a way that she's been victimized coming from the Eastern European background and from the modeling world.
Oh yeah, but
I know about the modeling world and Eastern European models.
it's too late. You're gonna live your whole life and not fucking say anything. No, you're a piece of
I
shit.
don't know how, I feel that through this process of her being the first lady and the people attacking her, I kind of agree with her. And when she says that, there's no legal accusations against her, she wasn't on the fight logs as far as I've seen. There was no nefarious
You
email.
don't have to be. Jeffrey introduced Melania to Trump.
Elaine was a monster abusing children. Melania wasn't. There are no victims. And I've talked to hundreds, and I've had lawyers talk to hundreds of victims. Ever say anyone was present or did anything. So it's hard for me to sit here and be like, yeah, she was guilty and she knew this. We don't know what she did.
Oh, I'm not indicting her. I don't want you to take it the wrong way, or our audience take it the wrong way. What I'm suggesting is she's guilty of anything. It's her complicity and her silence for being part of this.
Exactly. Thank you.
United States.
You're gonna live your whole fucking life and not say anything? No.
Without approval from the White House or her husband. He counts her as her closest advisor. He's been consulting with her recently about who should stay and who should go within the cabinet. That's already been reported. And for her, Ivanka, and the other strong Trump women to stay silent all this time, I would have expected, and I would have credited her more if she had stepped forward a year ago and done that press conference, instead of for what it looks like, which is the media focused on her relationship with Michael Wolff lawsuit, and then
You're gonna live your whole life and fucking not say anything.
I will agree with you, is that she then took the next step and demanded justice. In fact, let's show that clip, and then you can comment on what do you think will happen next now that the first lady is putting her muscle on it? Let's play the clip.
Okay. Now is the time for
I'd rather
Congress to
stick
act.
forks in my fucking eyes.
Epstein was not alone.
I know he wasn't alone. You were with him.
Executives resigned from their powerful positions after this matter became widely politicized. Of course, this doesn't amount to guilt, but we still must work openly and transparently
Openly,
to
huh?
uncover the truth. I call on Congress to provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically.
How many times does she have to
centered around
fucking look
this
down?
violence.
This shit should come out naturally. This shouldn't be scripted. This shouldn't be written ahead. If you care, this shouldn't be written ahead. I've never seen somebody fucking look down so much
Each
while
and every
addressing
woman
a nation.
should have her day to tell her story in public if she wishes. And then her testimony should be permanently entered into the congressional record. Then, and only then,
Fucking makes me
we
sick.
will have the truth. Thank you.
Fuck
So
you.
they've obviously made a calculation, putting Melania, it's probably quite short, right? First lady of the United States, first had to stand in front of America and say that she's not involved with child sex trafficking. All right, that's the first time in history. We've had a lot of first ladies. That's the first time in history somebody had to start off a press conference that way. The second was this declaration, obviously approved by the members, that Congress should give you your platform, finally, under oath, and the others, if you so choose, to testify. She left off the part about what does the Department of Justice do about it, to criminally go after the predators that were involved. Well, let's leave it at that. Her
That's
husband's
her point there, Michael. That's not her point. Her point was to say, look, I'm not involved. And then also, all she could have done was say, I'm not involved. I don't appreciate you talking this way about me. It's wrong. You can see she's really upset about it. She's in another
No,
step.
she is not. No, she is not.
She feels something for the survivors, but I don't think she would do it. She's not a monster. She has empathy. Our husband, she's taking a stand, whether they agreed or not. I feel like she was like, I want to do something. And this is a big deal. She said each and every woman should have her day to tell her story in public. That's huge. And then she said her testimony.
Yeah, you're gonna wait until your husband starts a fucking war and kills 160 kids? You're gonna stick up for fucking Melania? What? A Jeffrey Epstein survivor sticking up for fucking Melania.
She's on our side.
You feel that way?
Yes.
Okay.
That was the first time I felt that way from any person. We didn't get that from Bondi. That's what Bondi should have done. Right? But I mean, she actually, I don't know what's going on.
Talk about how Melania was looking down the whole time. You're gonna call that sincere?
But I'm gonna stand up for these women.
You may be exactly right. I mean, look, this is a lot of pressure. This is a lot of pressure placed on her.
That Jeffrey Epstein survivor is fucking monster noodles. Holy shit.
That's what you got. The lawsuit that you have.
Melania don't give a fuck about you.
Pardon me. And then you've got the calls on platforms like ours and yours for her to step forward and do something for the survivors. I mean, we've been hoping she would do something for the immigrants and migrants in this country, given her special role as the first immigrant first lady, but she decided not to do that. But here, finally, after all of the things, and I think, I'm just speculating here, I'm not a psychologist, but it certainly probably helped the matter when she was just trying to do her documentary press conference a month or so ago, and she got asked if it was appropriate and got linked back to the Epstein files to her to do a documentary and not take questions like this. And she snapped and ended that press conference. That might have been the light of the flame, or the fuse.
Yeah, something with the flame for her.
Yeah.
And it's because it's lit flame to everybody. I think she's probably disgusted like the rest of the United States when they read the files, when we found out things had to do, with children. I feel like something shifted in her. And
So, I mean, are we gonna talk about how many times dipshit Donald Duck's name is in the fucking F files? The whole Trump family is in the Epstein files. And you're gonna stick up for Melania because she's fucking saying something now because somebody that was in her life for 20 years has came out and says, stop talking to me, otherwise I'm gonna expose everything I know. You're gonna fucking stick up for Melania? Oh my God. I literally think I've seen it all now. I literally think I've seen it all.
They never thought we could get this far.
I have literally seen it all.
Interesting, just as we're doing this, we're building this plane together on air. You know, another interesting data point for this, you know, on your position, is that she can't possibly really know what is in the files and the truth about her husband, because her husband's not telling her the truth. And we now know there's this then 13, 14-year-old who was interviewed 4 times by the FBI, who says that she was forced into performing a sex act on Donald Trump, and that he hit her after she hit him. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. It's the FBI Department of Justice, because they haven't thoroughly investigated it. So even if she confronted him, like, is it true? Didn't you do this? Well, Donald Trump's not going to tell them the truth. And so there's so much in there. I mean, what's the running joke about the files? So Donald Trump's mentioned more times in the Epstein files, he's mentioned in the Bible, and so, or Harry Potter and Harry Potter, and so she can't really know if her husband is innocent. And
now, that's the political theater stuff, because obviously, if all this stuff is true about Donald Trump and she's aware of it, what better way to take the news and everything off of him, but then to have survivors come forward and testify about this.
Yeah.
Because then now all the news goes to all the other men that the survivors are going to talk about.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe
It's always a reason why.
Yeah, multiply layered reasons. So let's turn now that we have Melania, and I'm sure for years there's going to be lots of movements now that Ro Khanna and Tom Massey have support by the First Lady in Congress to start up these hearings. We already know that J.B. Raskin is ready. We know that our Representative Garcia is ready. We know that Senator Blumenthal is ready, along with the White House is ready. Everybody's ready on the Democratic side to pick up the mantle here and say, we just heard from the First Lady, let's get these hearings up and running. Okay, folks? Now,
Melania's spoken. We can act now. Holy fuck, dude. Fucking Twilight Zone every fucking day. Every
the gravity in which she had the Epstein survivors and the files has now taken the position that she doesn't have to testify because the subpoena says it's in her official capacity, right? Which I think only she's going to have.
Wasn't Melania supposed to testify? Why isn't Melania testifying? You're going to stick up for Melania, but not when she hasn't even testified yet or said anything about testifying. You're still going to stick up for her.
I think it's worse.
Yeah.
I want her to testify. She's the one who's had it longer, that's right? Since almost a year now.
Yeah. So you won't rest until she testifies.
Well, I think she's the attorney general. She's the one who should testify.
Yeah.
Her just being fired or.
Yeah, but Melania doesn't have to.
And then if she doesn't.
I'm losing my shit here.
And she doesn't. Because that's probably the whole conflict from the beginning, was to move them in and not have to. And I just it kind of discussed me really bad if she doesn't.
Yeah.
Fucking
I
telling
mean,
me.
Tom Lynch, his first press conference, besides saying again that the Department of Justice will not be independent, will be controlled by Donald Trump. In fact, he said that in his press conference. He also said, let's put the Epstein files in the rear and the survivors in the rearview mirror. Okay, folks, you Attorney General, what's your position in response?
Oh, we're not going to stop. We're going to keep pushing. We have now so much of Congress behind us, very, very important, powerful people too behind us. We want to make sure that some justice is served and that there are some accountability and awareness of what's going on. We're only like 60% there. You know, we still haven't hit the you know, the 90s and early 2000s.
Right.
40 of assaults with use for hacking.
Absolutely. What's happening with the other investigations of major universities and all that were also involved with the scandal and the kind of the money laundering there? I've done reporting of Bank of America just settled for 72.5 million. And we know JP Morgan Chase settled, Deutsche Bank settled with survivors, groups of survivors. So, banks are stepping up and settling. But what about these other institutions that were complicit with Epstein? What's happening there?
No, we're still working on it. We did institutions. I mean, I think originally we thought it was just providing for the analysis being useful and a lot of survivors are looking forward.
That's gay. Thank you for weighing in, Haas.
That's right here that says that it means useful or NYU. That's just the investigations. It's going to take a while.
How important has the public
Take a while, huh?
an outcry along with you and your survivors? How important do you think the public has been in bending the Trump administration and getting to where we even are right now?
Oh, the public support has been everywhere. And if we didn't have the public support, we would be where we are. It's the public, and even Republicans.
Nah, Melania who fucking sleeps with the cocksuckers. Yeah.
This is an issue of human rights. What's right for survivors, for young women and teenagers and children. And the support is what has moved people. I mean, I think from owners has said they get hundreds of letters, calls all the time about this. It's the biggest issue we've ever had. Coming from the public support. Our press conferences are the biggest that have ever been on, in Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
So this is a human issue. This isn't just about survivors, it's about Republican or Democrats. It's way bigger.
Well, I know our audience of participants, I know our audience of participants, we only have for our only meeting quarter. I always have to back, as you know, and talk to our audience a bit about, brief our audience a bit about what's coming up besides you making a decision about hopefully testifying at the congressional hearing and having a congressional hearing to testify in for the public record and beyond. One of the things that you're working on right now that's coming up in your life in this world of attempting to get for you and
One didn't turn her back and look at us. Realized that we didn't have the real true support. Representatives were speaking
It took up until then?
people that we really needed on our side were not.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so next week is really important because Metropolitan Police in the UK has said survivors, please come forward. Former Prince Andrew and Mendelssohn are being investigated for financial ties, not for the sectors and the claims that are out there. And so myself.
Fucking evilness in this goddamn world. Dude is storing on roids. On roids. Stupid is strong in this one. Thanks for weighing in, Hoss. How's that revenge tour working out for you? How them $8 gas prices working out for you? All the hate coming from the left.
We'll also be holding a press conference after those meetings next week in the UK. So this is a big deal. We're not getting what we wanted, and the answers that we need in the United States, but we have allies in Europe who really do want to.
Yeah, isn't there a
thorough investigation.
Didn't Iran let a fucking boat through the strait that has Epstein copy files on it. It's hilarious.
Has just completely abdicated all responsibility. And I love the fact that you go to Scotland Yard to be the police. I always loved the concept of Scotland Yard. And the fact that it sounds like you're going there is.
Oh, yeah, and we have on budget, we have a Labour Party from Ireland.
Yeah.
She's calling for the Irish files. So you have Ireland, Lithuania, Norway. There's so many countries that are saying, wait a minute, something's off here. We need to investigate it. And they've been reaching out to Trump, our president, and officials here not getting answers.
Yeah, and you'll update us, come back and talk to us about spies actions overseas and the developments there related to it. And of course, as soon as these hearings that the First Lady has now demanded start to give the victims, the survivors, a voice and congressional testimony to let the chips fall where they may, apparently. Maybe the next press conference is going to be Melania Trump divorcing Donald Trump. I don't know. But in any event, that'll be for another day, another interview. So I'm glad, Lisa, that you joined us here to give your lived experience, to give your authentic voice to survivors and to brief our audience about the updates and to respond to breaking news. Can't thank you enough for always doing that.
No, thank you to that. And don't forget that Melania did say she was calling on Congress to provide the women that have been victimized by Epstein with public hearing.
So,
You know, that should happen. Let's make that happen.
I'd be shocked if that's going to fall on deaf ears and not be. I'm sure by the time this is up on our Legal AF YouTube channel, there's already the mechanics to get that point once Congress returns from its recess. I'm glad everybody is here. Joining Lisa Phillips, a sexual abuse survivor movement, as an Epstein survivor, otherwise called a person, just did something to help survivors regaining their dignity and obtain justice. And that's what we're all about here on Legal AF. While you're here on Legal AF, take a moment, hit the free subscribe button from Democracy Channel. I'm Michael Bombach, it's on my next. You didn't get your fill of Legal AF, me either. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack, you'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting, we got interviews, we got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe. Welcome to a very special edition of Legal AF.
No.
Donald Trump is panicking as Iran has effectively trapped him in his own plan of deceit, where Donald Trump was going to agree to Iran's 10-point settlement framework for a ceasefire, which Trump agreed to, and then Trump was going to then claim, actually, we didn't agree to those terms. We have our own terms. Iran knew that Donald Trump was going to do that. He knew that Trump and Netanyahu were going to start bombing Lebanon and Beirut. And they basically said, okay, you do that. We're just going to continue to control the Strait of Hormuz. We're not going to allow a single tanker to pass through. And we'll show you Donald and Netanyahu who really has the cards. And that's what Iran did. And we're seeing, again, no tankers going through the Strait of Hormuz. We saw about 7 ships in the past 24 hours, mostly cargo ships with Iranian flags. And now Donald Trump's been freaking out all night and throughout the day, making social media post after social media post. And frankly,
Because that's what presidents do.
Individuals who are close to MD Donald Trump.
They fucking tweet at fucking 3-4 o'clock in the morning. Thank you for that like. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing good out there.
Iranian people.
What is this host crying about today?
Today,
Crying about women and children being killed on my tax dollar, your tax dollar. That's what I'm crying about. How them gas prices working out for you, bud?
Iran has intensified.
How's that revenge tour working out for you?
And Donald Trump responds by saying Iran has been. He says if Iran doesn't make a deal, it's going to be very, very painful. And Iran says, good luck. Good luck.
Good luck.
Foreign Minister Araghchi of Iran posted the following.
Why
Netanyahu's criminal
We
trial
can't hear you,
pursues
stupid. Oh, really?
a region-wide
Why not?
ceasefire, including in Lebanon, would hasten its
that why?
challenge. The U.S. wishes to crater its economy by letting Netanyahu kill diplomacy.
I said, are you enjoying your King's Mr. January 6th gas prices? Are you enjoying the revenge tour?
Foreign Minister Araghchi posted that.
It's like a little kid's Christmas
Was
list.
responding to J.D. Vance,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Donald Trump's vice president, who had said the following before that. If Iran wants to let this negotiation fall
You think I
apart,
don't know I write like shit?
which has nothing to do with them.
Thank you for that like. I appreciate it.
We
Hope
think
you're doing
that
good
would
out
be
there.
dumb, but it's their choice.
Can you really not hear me?
Minister Araghchi said, what would really be dumb is if the U.S. wishes to crater its economy by letting.
Dude, get a job. Oh, Jesus Christ. Here we go, dude. That's not an argument, dude. That's bigotry. Bud, you're a bigot. Get the fuck out of my life, bigot.
Actually did indeed.
Don't worry about me. Worry about yourself, bud.
Lebanon as well. The Prime Minister of Pakistan, Sharif, when he announced the ceasefire, specifically said,
Iran will give a fuck. Iran's been ready for this shit for 20 years.
You have MB Ghalibaf, Iran's parliament leader, just toying with Donald Trump and this regime. It's embarrassing to see, frankly. As an American,
Stop going to work.
it's embarrassing to see this
Stop
power
going to work
dynamic.
as if you've ever been to work in your life. Oh, Jesus Christ. Another big. Nice creativity there.
As Iran's allies form an inseparable part of the ceasefire. And then Ghalibaf cites the 10-point settlement negotiation plan that Trump agreed to. Point 1 of the 10-point proposal said ceasefire applies to Lebanon. And he goes, Prime Minister Sharif publicly and clearly stressed that the Lebanon issue, there is no room for denial and
It was like you should work at Lowe's or Home Depot. I was a forklift operator. Forklift operator, construction, delivery driver, fucking you name it.
MD Ghalibaf telling the United States and Trump.
AKA, I was a contributing member of the society before Mr. January 6th stepped back in. Stop going to work. Oh no, who am I going to buy vape juice from? Vape juice? No, dude, I'm old school. I've never vaped in my fucking life.
You know what? It is deeply embarrassing to see that play out and to see that dynamic in real time. That Iran is out there threatening to put this things like that. It's like, because all of the reporting is for about 3 weeks now. Donald Trump.
No one cares what you used to be. What are you now? Don't worry about what I am now, bigot.
Donald Trump was always saying, I mean, except your 10-point.
That's all Trader MAGA has is bigotry, hatred, fucking fake news, misinformation. Jesus Christ. You guys are the fucking minorities, man. You're a stay-at-home pothead. Never mind. I wish I was.
Things are very grim.
My rent's $1,035. AKA prices didn't go down on day one. AKA Trader MAGA got lied to once again. Trader MAGA's been getting lied to for 11 straight years.
Yes, this is the art of the deal.
White dude for Harris. Absolutely. Well, not anymore. Fucking Kamala didn't do shit. She didn't even ask for a fucking recount.
This is not.
You are a loser. Thanks for weighing in. I was about to say bud, but bigot. Thanks for weighing.
They are in better stock now. Donald J. Trump, the Wall Street Journal, one of the worst and most accurate editorial boards in the world, stated that I declared premature victory in what actually it is a victory. And there's nothing premature about it. Because of me, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. And very quickly you'll see oil start flowing with or without the help of Iran. And to me, it makes no difference either way. The Wall Street Journal will, as usual, live to eat their words. They are always quick to criticize and never admit when they are wrong, which is most of the time Donald J. Trump. And then he posted this thing. I'm going to read this thing.
What a fucking psycho.
Megan Kelly, Candace Owens, Alex.
The pot explains the list. That looks like it was written by an elementary school. Okay, where's your plan? That's why I always love pointing out. Trader MAGA loves to go out and try and shit on people, but you have no plan of your own, no solution of your own. You just fucking believe every single word that one piece of shit says, and you have nothing to show for it besides high gas prices, outrageous rent, outrageous groceries. Holy shit. How many Trump survivors, how many Trump supporters have been killed so far? I'll mention, I do have disabilities. Why is it all caps? You forget how to lowercase? No, I want to be like Mr. January 6th or King, capitalizing everything. What are you talking about? Shut your bunghole, you filthy hippie. That's the first time I've been called a hippie. Thank you. That's an honor.
Foreign Minister Kamal Karazi was a previous senior leader, senior advisor to the Supreme Leader. He died from airstrike injuries that took place back on April 1st. You may recall he was a former foreign minister. Originally, Pakistan was trying to reach out and to find somebody to negotiate. They went to this guy, the former foreign minister. And while he was working with Pakistan officials,
Bro, by the way, a hat is designed to block the sun. Again, bigotry. What do you care if I'm wearing a hat? Out of your eyes. Why are you wearing it indoors and backwards? Why are you bigot? Why are you fucking trying to paint your bigotry over everything and everybody? You look like a 15-year-old retired skateboarder. Thank you. I did skate. I skated for 10 years. Every time he's an idiot. Yeah, thanks for weighing in, Hoss. Bud, you had nothing. How them gas prices working out for you?
8 in April alone. About $720 million losses on these MQ-9 Reaper.
You're fucking gonna try and argue that I'm wearing a hat indoors while women and children are getting killed on your tax dollars. You're worried about me wearing a fucking hat. We all know what's underneath it. It has them insecurities. Insecurities?
See it correctly and stand in the right place. Be suspicious of the false promise of the devils.
You keep that hat on during sex?
Don't stay with the U.S. That's what the actual is saying. We will not abandon the criminal aggressors who attacked our we will demand compensation.
Well, actually, just recently, I stopped wearing my hat. Old lesbian hair, thank you. My dog has a higher IQ. Again, thanks for weighing in. Give me one campaign promise your king has kept. Just one. Give me one.
Strategic advisor to Iranian Parliament Speaker and Galibaf. He issued this warning yesterday. Only a limited number of hours remain without complete restraint of American dogs in Lebanon. There will be no ceasefire or negotiations, and the missiles are ready to fly. Mohammadi said the equation of shared destiny among the components of the resistance axis as part of what he called a new regional order following Iran's victory.
Shut country down and,
certified impossible with kind words, otherwise with war. And Rob Site was reporting that.
One campaign promise. Give me one campaign promise.
Since J.D. Vance has left Hungary, Viktor Orban.
Oh shit, I already know what you're gonna say. You're gonna fucking say all the fucking goddamn, oh, the trillions of immigrants that he kicked out of the country, but he showed us absolutely no proof. He just throws numbers out there. We sent 1 trillion immigrants to fucking over here. America's safe again. We sane people like to have proof.
Well, first off, if you are claiming there's a ceasefire there, why
can't just say I shit gold, and that's true because I just said it.
Also, why are you going to keep sanctions off of Russia right now?
Okay, I don't even know what that fucking means. Funny how my income tax cuts were great. Oh, so you're part of the Epstein class then.
Sanctions off of Russia. That's the ceasefire.
I don't like Epstein class in my life. You can leave now.
You've got play. And that's the dynamic that's shaping up as we head into these
Trader MAGA fighting for the billionaire Epstein class.
10-year ceasefire. Melania yesterday, she gave that weird speech.
Yeah. Oh my fuck. Holy shit.
Victim or survivor. That's
now I've seen it all. A Jeffrey Epstein victim standing up for fucking Melania, who's a fucking immigrant. Holy shit. You can't make these past 11 years up. You just can't.
He's a guy who ran a modeling agency. He was friends with Trump. He registered European girls and went to the US. He held parties at the Kit Kat Club for wealthy Manhattan men to meet these European women and girls.
Yeah, that's where Bud was.
Kit Kat Club. And,
Bud was chilling with Jeffrey.
John Foley is going to be deposed by the House of Representatives as well. And so I wonder if Foley's deposition had anything to do with Melania giving the speech. But, you know, as we have this tenuous ceasefire.
Oh, she gave that speech because a friend of 20 years put out a post saying, fucking stop talking about me, otherwise I'm going to expose everything. Kind of weird that Melania comes out of left field and has that dumbass fucking speech, which I never, she had to look down the whole time to read it.
Subscribers get to 7 million.
Jesus.
What if they plugged in?
Ridiculous.
Call Donald Trump's damn bluff. World leaders are standing up to Donald Trump and his despicable regime. In that video you saw right there, Peter Magyar, the opposition leader in Hungary, the pro-democracy coalition leader, is poised to win the election in Hungary and take down the Putin puppet who Trump is trying to hoist up as well. Viktor Orban, when Hungary's election is set to take place in just 2 days, folks. April 12th.
Yep, funny that JD's dumbass went over there.
Tens of thousands.
Never before has a fucking VP went over to Hungary.
Across Hungary, rise up in these massive
corruption, just in fucking plain sight every fucking day.
With the European Union, with Ukraine, and this follows J.D. Vance going to Hungary, praising Viktor Orban, telling people to vote for Orban, and it basically had the opposite effect as expected. J.D. Vance's visit to Hungary was the kiss of death for Orban's imploding campaign.
Dude, you only have 2 people in there. Loser. Again, with the bigotry. Do you think I give a fuck who's watching right now? I'm trying to get my fucking message out. That's all I give a fuck about. Take your bigotry somewhere else.
Great job. It was always been doing a great job at it. Ukraine President Zelensky. Here's what he posted moments ago. He goes, look, if the sanctions on Russia oil were lifted by Donald Trump because of the war in the Middle East, so will U.S. sanctions be reimposed now that there is a ceasefire? I think that an answer to this question will expose the reason for lifting sanctions in the first place. We just need to wait and see. In my view, Russia played the Americans played the president of the United States. The Russians lied about the role of their oil supplies playing in keeping oil markets stable. If the U.S. reimposed sanctions, that would be fair. But if it doesn't, ... We heard that Russia wanted Americans to buy certain energy assets in Europe belonging to Lukoil. I ask myself, if I want to sell sanctioned energy assets, what do? I come up with a scheme to lift sanctions. How else could I sell it? See what Zelensky's saying right there? Okay, Donald, okay, United States, okay,
Fucking
you're saying you
hilarious.
were lifting your sanctions against Russia because of the war. Well, now that you said you'd stop the war, you continue to lift the sanctions against Russia. Why wouldn't you impose those sanctions against Russia right now? What's the point of allowing Russia to make all of this damn money? Or was that the intention from the outset, is what Zelensky's essentially saying? Time will tell. And Zelensky also hints out that there are other schemes behind the scenes for the US to basically launder money to Russia. And Zelensky's saying, time will tell, but we see what you are doing. Some of the strongest words of Zelensky calling Donald Trump out there as well. Also, Zelensky posted the following as well. So, in response to a question about a ceasefire in the Middle East, if a ceasefire in the Middle East holds, there will be no crisis in providing support to Ukraine. Of course, this is what we hope for. We also very much want an end to Russia's war against Ukraine. At the very least, we need to take the first step, a ceasefire. I've always said that this is where we need to start, but we've been told that given signals that no, the war can only be ended once and for all. A ceasefire accomplishes nothing, but I believe it does. The example of the Middle East now clearly shows that a ceasefire is possible. The United States has sufficient strength to make this happen. If they were able to reach a secure ceasefire in the Middle East, then there is enough strength to secure a ceasefire in Russia's war against Ukraine as well, especially since Ukraine supports it. So he's calling Donald Trump's bluff, okay? If you think you got a big tough ceasefire in the Middle East,
You don't care who's watching, but you're trying to get your message out. Oh my God, you're so stupid. Thanks for Jesus Christ. I've got an idea. Go stand in front of a mirror and cry about everything yourself. I don't have to. I cry right here because of your dipshit Donald Duck King. I lost everything I had because of fucking dipshit Donald Duck.
Trump's bluff, and finally saying it with clarity. And he goes, I am fed up with Donald Trump. Because of him and Putin, the world is suffering. The business and the world economy is suffering because of Trump and Putin. And he lumps them together because that's the crew. That's always been the crew, right? When Donald Trump goes Russia, 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 everybody's saying, everybody realizes what's been happening here. Trump used the war in Iran as a
Burned into history.
as a pretext to
Fucking
Russia and
keep claiming Russia didn't happen. The dumbass motherfucker said it on live TV. Russia. If you're listening, Trump has never won against a woman
Families across the country see that
or a man. Trump's never fucking won against a man.
because of the actions.
He will never beat Joe's fucking popular vote. Hillary Clinton beat him with the popular vote. AKA most people in this country don't give a shit or hate dipshit Donald Duck. So I'm not too worried about that. But you lost everything because you're too lazy to work. You don't know me. Like I said, pick your bigotry up and go kick rocks. I can only take so much bigotry in the morning. I'm not gonna speak anything about that, but
absolutely focused on what is our national interest. And that's why I apply my principles of
guilty
my values,
motherfucker.
my principles and values, make sure that our decisions, whether we wouldn't get involved in the action without a lawful basis, without a viable thought through that was the right position for the United Kingdom. And of course, that has included us taking action, collective self-defense. I dare say thank you to some of those who have been defending our allies and British interests in the region. But the principles of not getting dragged into this war, principles of always saying the UK will act only on lawful basis and only for the viable long-term plan
There are a lot of principles, and as I say, I'm the British Prime Minister. I act in the British national interest, and nothing is going to deflect me from that.
Now we have lots of other countries calling Donald Trump's bluff as well, and they're saying, we know how weak and pathetic you are. We know that you're not going to be able to secure any lasting or viable agreement with Iran. You're going to pretend that you did something and engage in a fake deal. And lots of countries who Donald Trump has done fake deals with know exactly his MO at this point. And here's how they're responding. I mean, you got in South Korea. South Korea is sending their special envoy to Iran to talk bilateral negotiations. And South Korea send its ships.
That's another thing Trader MAGA don't realize. America don't offer the world shit.
Countries are going to have to now negotiate.
Bye-bye, bigot.
Bilateral basis.
Bye-bye, trader.
With Iran that controls the Strait of Hormuz. As Faris Modad explains, that means that South Korea will end up removing sanctions on Iran and in exchange will be allowed to pay Iran for the privilege of letting South Korea receive oil and gas shipments. After South Korea does this, many others will follow the same exact process, but they also have to unfreeze Iranian assets. The Americans' options are terrible. If they resume war, what energy infrastructure is left will be destroyed, and even if in 20 years they won't win. And if the Americans accept this, there's little to no point in them remaining in the Gulf. Their presence would be a sign of their humiliation, and their exit would make Iran more powerful still. In essence, checkmate, Donald, because now Iran, which is still controlling the Strait of Hormuz and says it will forever with an iron fist, there's been no tankers that have left the Strait of Hormuz. There's been a few cargo ships, but they're all Iranian flagged and they're going into Iran. Maybe there's been one tanker since this fake ceasefire was announced that got out, but basically no tankers. Oil prices are still high, and Iran is
Gas prices,
and
groceries,
so countries are going to have
rent.
to do bilateral negotiations with Iran. That's what we're seeing.
Let me interrupt for a minute to bring you a quick breaking news story. 1 year after what Trump called Liberation Day, these tariffs are now making America's energy crisis even worse, and families are paying the price. New data shows the average American family has already paid over $1,700 in tariff costs since Trump took office, with more than $231 billion in total cost nationwide. And now energy bills are surging.
Yep.
Gas
AKA dipshit Donald Duck don't give a fuck about anybody but himself. Billionaire Epstein class.
Higher electricity costs this year, all tied to tariffs and rollback in energy investments. And it's not just tariffs. Trump's escalating war with Iran is driving global instability and energy prices even higher. The driving gas front, I'm sure you felt it at home. At the same time, this administration is cutting clean energy programs that can stabilize costs here at home, while slapping tariffs on things like wind turbines and solar, making the transition even more expensive. And to add insult to injury, while prices are rising, they're inside Trump's new budget, and this is not getting enough attention. He's proposing to eliminate LIHEAP, the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program. That's the program that helps low-income families keep and cool their homes, a program that millions rely on. So families are getting hit from every angle. Higher bills, global conflict, and fewer protections. The bottom line, higher costs, more instability, and policies that are making everyday life less affordable, all because of this administration. Now it's time for you to speak out. Go in the comments.
Yeah, that's why.
What do you think about these moves from the Trump administration? What have your bills look like? Is climate policy important to you? Let me know. I'll be reading all your comments. All right, Ben.
I'll never forget some asshole I used to work with.
You also have the UAE losing its patience with the United States over the Strait of Hormuz.
Probably like June or July of 2024. Fucking all he was worried about was fucking Kamala's foreign policies. Jesus Christ. You got the biggest domestic terrorist in American history running for president, and you're worried about her fucking foreign policies? Holy shit. How you like dipshit Donald Duck's foreign policies now? Holy shit. But you have having all that going around Trump, I bet you had no balls to say it to his face if you could. Keep being you. Oh, I thought you were talking to me. No, that's like, wow, what the hell did I do? Keep being you, sir. Don't let the haters get to you. No, I never do.
And so the UAE is flipping out, Saudi Arabia is flipping out.
I actually got my medication. I have really bad anxiety, panic attacks and stuff. But I actually got my medication I was able to get yesterday.
Donald Trump. I mean, just think about
Yeah,
it.
no, you're good,
This is
Penelope.
Trump's Atlantic City bankruptcies, right? When he's bankrupted casino.
If you're at work, I hope it's not too crazy for you. Hope you're doing good today. We're having a good afternoon or morning.
They all did their quid pro quo deals with Donald Trump. Qatar bought him the jet. UAE
Yeah,
put money into his crypto company, and
I survived.
hotels in Saudi Arabia got Trump hotels and Trump.
They,
all the
they just spew nonsense and hope it sticks, and then they run away.
Demonstrated that despite having the most powerful military in the world,
Oh yeah,
America's
that's good.
security umbrella in the Middle East is over.
Yeah, about well,
So you have,
when I
Trump regime officials,
had a job,
Marco Rubio, they were living when lots of
I was ready to get back into bed right when I got out of bed. It's like right when you walk into work, you want to walk right back out, go back home.
Offensive drone technology, the satellite stuff, that's being done cheaply.
Just try not to look at the clock.
Deal with Iran's
Look at the clock all the time. It's going to go slow for you.
and also made with Russia, because Ukraine is probably the top of the world of dealing with drone interceptions and offensive drones and unmanned vessel drones because of the invasion against it by Russia and Ukraine's brilliant ingenuity. And Middle East countries collecting.
What do you do if you don't mind me asking?
And Trump and Rubio are pissed at like Saudi Arabia and Qatar and Jordan and other countries for cutting deals with Ukraine, because they're like, that's not supposed to happen. You aren't supposed to help Zelensky. We're trying to isolate Zelensky and help Putin. Doesn't it seem like all of this by Donald Trump and his regime has one major benefactor, Putin benefiting more than anyone? And that's precisely what Zelensky was calling out in that poster.
Oh, really cool.
It should be noted that Spain.
Is it a windowless warehouse?
It will be reopening its embassy in Tehran.
That's what I wanted to get away from.
To do so as part
I used to be a forklift operator. I've always wanted to work on farms.
And also you have Prime Minister Sanchez.
I would if they
calling out
paid better, but
his regime, calling out their war crimes, Trump and Netanyahu's war crimes in no
I used to live 50 miles west of Chicago, suburbs of Chicago. So we're basically literally surrounded by cornfields, tractors and stuff, farms. I loved it. I'd love to work on a farm. I wouldn't be able to take, because have you ever, I don't know how to, it's a stupid word. Oh, really? That's cool. My dad used to build and ride bikes, well, not build cars, or build bikes. He'd take the motors out and shit and swap motors and stuff like that. My dad used to have a 67 Camaro, 68 Camaro. My dad had a lot of nice shit. I want to buy a cabin and get away from this world. So bad. Yeah. I literally intentionally got rid of my apartment last year and lived in my car for 4 or 5 years on BLM land. I literally got a DoorDash to a summer school in the woods up north in my state. And I look over, there's campers. Back? Sorry about that. But anyway, I was like, yeah, he's been over here a year. I'm like, no way, this is what I came up here for. I've been trying to find some free BLM land I could chill on. I would love to get a cabin.
And she is a self-styled 6-day journey. She went on what's called a self-styled 6-day journey for peace around China. She is an opposition leader in Taiwan. And while her official position is not having Taiwan join China or have China conquer Taiwan, everybody knows that that's really what she's trying to arrange behind the scenes.
Yeah.
With Xi Jinping. So she did this tour of China, and lots of people say behind the scenes, China was.
But yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if I could. I couldn't hunt.
Iran temporarily, hey, can you just do this?
I wouldn't be able to kill animals, so that would be hard. On the farm thing too, I wouldn't. As a kid, I went to one of my friend's farms, and he had a dead cow at the end of the. It was a huge property, of course, but they had a dead cow just chilling somewhere. And then my friend Ken, he just went over there. He didn't go and like jump on him like with all of his weight, but he went over the dead cow and just kind of sat on him. I'm like, holy shit! So I kind of went over there and just sat on it. Like, I can't do that. Maybe one day. I'm a big fisherman. I love it. Sounds nice. Yeah, I love fishing too. I probably, if I fished at all, it was probably
Taiwan, Japan, South Korea.
My dad, my mom used to take us to Jellystone Park, like Yogi Bear and Boo Boo. It was that kind of park, and they had a lot of fishing there. Yeah, cows are awesome. Where I was chilling on my BLN land, there was a bunch of cows. I have videos of it actually. I posted. Cows will literally come up into my campsite. It's like they don't care.
So Russian submarine operators,
big puppies. That sounds like a cool park. Yeah, no, it wasn't a park. It was or yeah, Yogi Bear was. I thought you were talking about the BLM. Yeah, they got a lot of Jellystone parks, I think, not just in Illinois.
You should know that any attempt to damage them will not be tolerated. Will have serious.
In the 90s.
We'll keep you posted every step of the way. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. World leaders continue to call Trump.
Almost at 7 million. Hell yeah.
It's not looking good for you.
Not me, Midas.
Even your former top.
Yeah, I literally intentionally got rid of my apartment. I got so lucky, and they waived the last 7 months of my lease. I got really lucky there. But then I live in the same complex right now. Life is a funny, funny thing.
Supporters are going to understand things like this. An baby trying to put grandpa in her home. That's from Candace Owens. She also writes, the 25th Amendment needs to be invoked. He is a genocidal lunatic. Our Congress and military need to intervene. We are beyond madness. Marjorie Taylor Greene writes, 25th Amendment. Not a single bomb has dropped on America. We cannot kill entire civilizations. This is evil and madness. And then when Donald Trump posted this ranting and raving, 1,000-word social media post saying Marjorie Trader Greene, Candace Owens is nasty, Megan Kelly this.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know. It says 0 people are watching, so I didn't know you were still in here.
Donald Trump has gone mad as he wages war against Iran. a broken campaign promise. I fought alongside Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones to help get Trump elected. And now he goes off on a rambling
Holy shit.
rant, attacking all of us.
I tried to join again. It don't let me, the haters get to you. Miracle person, keep up the amazing content. Promise will be expensive.
I know I told
Getting merch to
Carlson,
like
Megyn
3
Kelly,
bags is
Candace Owens, and Alex Jones have all
Yeah.
been fighting me for years, especially by the fact that
I really
they
hate the
it
max.
is wonderful for Iran, the number one
me
state
too.
sponsor of
That
terror to
right.
a nuclear weapon. because
Oh,
they
yeah.
have one thing in common.
Yeah,
They
me
like
too. When
you.
I
They are
come across
stupid
people's
people,
lives.
and they know it, their families know it, and everyone else knows it.
Yeah,
Look at
no,
their
I
past
don't.
and look at their record.
Especially now that I got and my psychiatrist, she was cool. She because I told her why I had to quit seeing her because I had to get a job and pay rent, so they canceled my health insurance. But I was just able yesterday to go see her again, and she gave me a 3-month 90-day prescription. So if my insurance does, whatever, I'll have a 3-month thing. So she really helped me out. And then I got some other help I needed too. So don't let work beat you down, Penelope. Yeah, get out there. Gotta get out there and work. Actually, no, that's against my message.
I mean, this is a real sickness that we are seeing in public.
Yeah, no, people like you really do help me out. I appreciate it.
ABC
Helps keep me sane. It really does.
So this reporter goes, this morning,
Reminds me I'm not the only
he's okay with Iranians
one that's
for all ships that go
wanting
to
to stop what's going on right now.
He told me there may be a joint U.S.-Iran venture to charge tolls. We're thinking of doing it as a JV. It's a way of securing it, also securing it for lots of other people. It's a beautiful thing. Now, we know that's not happening for the 10th plan that Donald Trump agreed to. Trump says that Iran gets to control the Strait of Hormuz fully. And
But yeah, I wish I
That's what the deal was. So yesterday, Donald Trump was saying that he was
Yeah.
a joint venture and he was aware of Iran charging tolls.
Unfortunately, this country, most people in this country, they need to be affected personally to actually care. I came up on an accident one time, like 3:00 in the morning. There's 3 bikers in the intersection. I stopped my car at the closest guy to me. I was already on 911 before I got out of my car. I grabbed a towel from my back seat and I went over to the first guy closest to me. I saw his buddy over there laying down. And then the third guy, he was up running around. He was scraped up a lot, but he was just worried about his buddies. So the kid laying on the floor, he was dead. But the guy I was helping, he was good. I didn't see any bones, but I think he might have broke something, like a leg or two, if I remember right, but something like that. But yeah, his friend over there was dead. He was only 18 or 19 years old. I read about him after. He was about to become a fighter pilot, and a drunk lady hit all 3 of those bikers. But that dead kid laying on the ground, I saw a car go 30, 40 miles past that dead kid on the ground at 3:00 in the morning. That's like, that shows the level of careness in this country. people literally drive past dead bodies on the ground and don't give a shit. It's something to see. It really is.
Donald J. Trump, you were the one who was talking to a reporter about this the day before. Now you're saying that you're learning about this for the first time. Again, I mean, you're a liar and you lie about everything, but what you're portraying publicly is that you're sick in the head. You are sick in the head and probably need to go to get really checked and not one of these.
Other people stopped too. Yeah, I wasn't the only one. I didn't mean to say that, but yeah.
Checked into Walter Reed immediately. I think you need to stay there. I really do, and I'm not trying to mock it.
Yeah.
I think he is deeply. I mean, we know he's malicious and disgusting and violent, so I don't want to ignore what a horrible.
Just yesterday, when I had to take, because my dad bought a car kind of for me, but long story short, my dad has a car, so I had to take the bus to go to my doctor's appointment. So I was coming back home and I was in the crosswalk. A Cintas truck comes right in front of me. I'm in the crosswalk and he still comes and takes his left turn. I'd stop in the crosswalk. Well, I kept walking, but I just look at him. And of course, I'm walking past all the other people stopped at that light because I'm in the crosswalk. And I'm just looking there. Nobody does anything. It's like I'm the type of person to go chase that asshole down. I'm sick and tired of the injustice. I'm sick and tired of people thinking they can treat anybody like shit. I'm tired of people thinking they can do whatever the fuck they want. I'm tired of it. It burns my ass. That's why I got help. Fucking Trader MAGA thinks it's them or Trump that's making, well, yeah. I mean, yeah, they are a big fucking part of why I need help, but my family really fucked me up in the head.
He's posting a weird AI image of him and Dana White with lightning bolts. And this is weird behavior. I mean, this is what he was doing.
Oh yeah, that dumbass fucking fight they want to hold there.
Then, and she was ready to go. She went back to the phone. She said, I've never been hit like that.
Damn. These microphones suck. It's like I've only been on a live 15 minutes and they're dead. Jesus. Well, sorry for the garbage audio. What happened to treat others how you want to be treated, but I understand what you're saying. And you are stronger than you believe. Keep being you, sir. I try.
Put my opinion aside. This is like, Ben.
I remember one time, like a couple days ago, some guy was pulling out, but then he pulled forward again, opened his door, and there was a pack of cigarettes on the ground. So he opened his door, grabbed that pack of cigarettes, looked in it, and I was getting gas. That's what it was. And he looked in the cigarette box, and he closed it or grabbed something, whatever he did with it. But he looks up at me because I'm looking at him because I was like, you better not throw that fucking cigarette box back down on that ground, you motherfucker. So he kept it. He didn't throw it back on the ground.
Like Trump.
I can't stand that either. Yep. I say that all the time, Penelope. All we can do is try.
You're anti-Trump.
And I'm just like, no, I'm pro-people, I'm pro-democracy, I'm pro-love and compassion and honesty, I'm pro-fact, I'm pro-reading, I'm pro-truth, I'm pro-America, I'm pro-being a real patriot. Not this traitorous, treasonous stuff that Donald Trump is doing. But set me aside, push me, no bad. Push me aside for a second, okay? What about some of Donald Trump's other top supporters? Here's Alex Jones saying.
What do you do in that warehouse, if you don't mind me asking? You got some crazy, forklifts out there. I'd love to get on. I've been on a lot, but
We're not pleased about this, but we have a response from the truth. We're not in the personality cult. We like guys who's doing a lot of good
pain.
things.
And then Alex Jones says, let me give you some examples. 5 to 6 times a day, they'll say this, they'll say that, they'll say this, they'll say that.
That's why 5, 6 times a day, oh, we won, it's over, no, 2 won forever, total destruction. I'll never let them have the straight. Yes, we're giving up the straight.
Oh, really?
We're getting out of NATO, we're staying in NATO.
All right, I will. Thank you so much. Be safe out there. That's awesome. You're higher than I was. I couldn't take being a manager. I got enough problems of my own. I can't deal with other people's problems. You're stronger than me, Penelope. Take care out there.
And then, as Alex Jones was reading that post that I just shared with you, which goes on 1,000 more words basically, and Trump's like just saying the weirdest things. I don't want to hear it so great. You know, Alex Jones is just like, is he being held hostage or no? It's just dementia. It's dementia. You're playing this clip.
I hope Alex is coming on. I was about to say.
I'm going to see the report, but I'm just wondering if Trump's going to go hostage. Listen, I'm not mad about this. He's mad that he's wrong. And he's mad he got set by Israel. And he wants to man twice the child. This is dementia. And, you know, no matter where he keeps intervening, he knows he was wrong about our end. He's thrown the fit. And it's okay. We're going to continue to be adults and just respond to this.
Yeah.
You just don't feel like
That's a high IQ response.
You know, and speaking of, you know, his behavior, I'm not going to show this video obviously, but last night, Donald Trump posted a death video. He posted a video of a migrant in Florida, I think a migrant from Bangladesh who was a manager at a store in Florida, and another person believed to be a migrant was out there. There's a believed to be stealing a car, and so the worker, who's a migrant herself from Bangladesh, comes out, and then she gets killed. It's a really gruesome video of somebody hammering her and killing her by smashing her in the head with a hammer. It's horrible. It's a horrible video. Trump, without saying, like, without giving any warning, posts the death video of a lady getting murdered on the ground, being repeatedly bludgeoned with a hammer. That's where we are now. And here's where we also are. You have Jesse Waters on stage.
Damn, they didn't even
Here's how they're
block it. Holy
You're
shit.
stuck with Trump whether you like it or not.
Instead of saying thank you, Democrats are talking impeachment, 25th Amendment, war crimes. But they're stuck with 47, whether they like it or not.
Here's Trump's sycophant Laurel Loomer just
This motherfucker.
But they're going to call for the 25th Amendment against Donald Trump. They're going to call for the 25th Amendment against Donald Trump because he actually wants to protect Americans from being nuked by genocidal Muslims who only understand force and death and destruction. And so that's how you have to treat these Muslims. You have to speak their language. You have to respond to these genocidal terror leaders by killing them, by destroying everything in their presence, and by creating nothing but a path of destruction and rubble. Because that's the language that these animals speak. That's why President Trump tweeted out on Easter, praise be to Allah.
Then you have accounts like this attacking the
A
people
fucking
who
psycho. Holy shit.
things about Donald Trump. And they're making montage videos.
We've made it to fucking April 2026 without being nuked by Iran. I think we are okay.
I want to share this with you as well because the Financial Times just reported how Donald Trump apparently for weeks has been begging Iran for a ceasefire. I mean, how weak and pathetic And here's what we learned from the Financial Times report. It's supposed to show you like Donald Trump has never made the United States weak. So the Trump regime has been seeking a ceasefire for weeks, at least since March 21st, when Trump first threatened to destroy Iranian power plants. Trump has been worried about oil prices and was surprised by Iranian resilience. Administration officials believed Iran would be more likely to accept a ceasefire if it was delivered by a Muslim-majority country and it listed Pakistan. Because ceasefire periods between 2 weeks and 45 days were floating. The Iranians were willing to budge on limiting their uranium stockpile. Iranchi and other Iranian officials involved in the negotiations had issues getting the IRGC, the Islamic Republic Revolutionary Guard Corps, on board. Some elements of the IRGC were strongly opposed to any agreement. At least one senior IRGC official would be included in the Iranian negotiations, but the fact that he was out there begging after starting this war, I'm obliterating your civilization, I'm going to shut down, destroy your power plants, I'm going to rain down death. He's been running, begging, please do a ceasefire with me, Iran. Please do a ceasefire with me, Iran. This is what the United States has become. And people are some, I know he's at an all-time low in popularity. This is what he's become. And finally, I'll show you this right here, more about Sterling's point.
How do we 25th Amendment this action?
The problem is to get the 25th Amendment is harder than impeachment. You have to get 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the
So
Senate.
what do we do?
Tackle Trump let him pretend he's president and publicly report that he's going through a health issue and advance takeover. It literally needs to be something like that. It's that bad.
Folks, let me know if you can subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Thanks so much for watching. Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also give memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.
fixing the progressive code issue.
Melania Trump's dark past is surfacing as that disastrous press conference she decided to hold yesterday regarding the Epstein files backfired in her face. We've seen Melania's name in the Epstein files, emails between her and Ghislaine Maxwell saying, "Hey G, how are you? You look great in New York Magazine with Jeffrey Epstein." And then Ghislaine Maxwell, I'm paraphrasing, Ghislaine Maxwell responded, "Hey sweet pea, can't hang out with you right now. Next time we're around, we'll try to hang out with each other." I mean, there are multiple photos with Ghislaine and Melania and Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein that are together. And when you take a look at Melania's dark past and how she got here into the United States in 1996 from Slovenia, she said she graduated from a university in Slovenia, but she did not graduate from that university, and she seemed to be putting false information on her official biography that she had to take down. There's lots of murky areas about when she really met Donald Trump, and she said she met him at a Kit Kat club when this modeling agency she worked for that was run by a guy named Paolo Zampoli, who's now an ambassador for the United States. But he ran a modeling agency where he brought Eastern European girls and women to the United States as models, and then they would have these parties at the Kit Kat Club, and wealthy Manhattan men would meet the models at the Kit Kat Club. And at one of these parties, Donald Trump met Melania, and then also in the Epstein files, there's references to Donald Trump talking about meeting Melania and how, use pretty explicit terms to refer to her looks, he thought she looked at the time. It was all very, very gross stuff. I want to peel back the curtain on Melania's dark past, but one of the reasons why this press conference was also backfiring is it just drew a lot more attention to the Epstein files. Lots of people are asking, Was she trying to preempt a story that's going to be coming out about either Donald Trump or her in the Epstein files? Why would you be doing such a press conference? People don't know. I mean, they're asking questions. I'm asking questions. Of course, I don't know the answer. Why would you be holding this press conference? And then she's like, I'm not a victim. I'm not a survivor. That there should be congressional hearings where we let the survivors speak, and the survivors should now show up and tell their stories. And the survivors then immediately responded to Melania calling out the survivors. They're like, stop invoking our name. We came forward, we've done everything we're supposed to do. You know who needs to testify right now? Pam Bondi. You know who needs to testify? People like Howard Lutnick. Like the actual perpetrators, they're the ones who should show up.
How about Melania's dumbass herself?
Justice, and they should be investigated and prosecuted. Stop putting the onus and the burden on us as the survivor community. And also, don't invoke our names in the White House without telling us, I mean, what was that? I mean, you're now invoking our names while your so-called husband is involved in the cover-up right now. And also, why aren't you getting deposed? Well, the survivors didn't say that, but I'm asking them. If y'all deposed Hillary Clinton and she wasn't in the files at all, why wouldn't you depose Melania, who is in those files? I mean, she's in the emails that I referenced to Ghislaine Maxwell, her messages to Maxwell, Maxwell's message to her, the photos of them together. But, you know, Melania's like, the photos are fake. Those aren't real photos of us. The documents are fake, and we just hung out in the same social circles. That's about it. And we weren't friends. We didn't really know each other. I mean, when you read the emails, it seems that, in my opinion, we seem to be, you know, friends. And I'll just share this with you as well right now. I mean, Melania is so deeply, deeply unpopular right now. Put it this way, she is the least popular first lady ever by far. Usually first ladies don't have net negative approvals. I don't think any first ladies have net negatives. So now, as Melania is doing this, her net negatives, and CNN just ran a story on this, she's like net negative 12, like by far the most unpopular first lady. Here, watch this right here.
I'd say that the American people really don't care for Melania Trump. Take a look at this. All right, let's take a look at Melania Trump's net points. Look at this. The lowest ever. The lowest ever. We're talking about now.
This guy cracks me up.
Underwater. If you go back a little bit more than a year ago, she was 3 points above water. You go back to this point, about this point in term number one for Donald Trump. Look at that. She was 30 points above water. So at this point, historic lows for Melania Trump. These numbers are absolutely awful.
One of the questions is why the shift now, but also I guess you need to look at this always in the historical context of how does she line up against other first ladies?
Yeah, okay. If we look at this historically, the worst ever at this point in term number two. Look at this. We got her at 12 points underwater. Look at the rest of these first ladies on the board right here. They're all way above water. 42 points above water for Michelle Obama, 46 above water for Laura Bush, 25 points above water for Hillary Clinton, who was not always most popular, and 50 points above water for Nancy Reagan. And I even looked at Joe Biden's numbers at this point in that presidency. Of course, that was term one. She was above water as well. So this is the worst at this point in a presidency as well. Melania Trump breaking records in the way that you don't want to break records. Historically awful she is. The American people really don't care for her.
And you also, I'm saying you have new numbers for another look at the impact of the appeal that she, her appeal after the documentary.
Yeah, okay, so you asked question number one, you said why? What is one of the reasons why? And I think one of the reasons why was this documentary, and I think a lot of people saw it as political, even if she didn't want it to be. And you can just see it here. This is real world data. This is not just the polling data that shows the lack of appeal, historic lack of appeal that she has for a first lady. Look at this. Some of Melania's budget sheet. Look at this. The budget, rights and marketing, $75 million. That was what is estimated to have been spent by Amazon. Compare that to the box office, both domestic and international combined. We're talking about $17 million. That makes this a bomb. There was a lot of talk when the film came out. Hey, you know, I had a good opening weekend, but then basically it stopped making money. So unless Amazon is able to make this up through streaming, this is going to be a historic bomb. Amazon spent a ton of money on it, and look at that. Simply
like Bezos gives a fuck.
That coalesces that
Bezos wipes his ass with 75 million.
Is historically unpopular for a first lady.
Interesting. Good to see you guys.
Nice to see you.
Scott McFarlane from the Midas Touch Network appeared on CNN last night, and here's how he described this. Let's play it.
It's interesting. If the First Lady is trying to preemptively diffuse the journalistic bomb that's coming from the Epstein files, you know, a lot of good PR practitioners would say you don't diffuse a bomb by calling attention to the bomb that's about to come and land on you.
That's a good.
More from Scott McFarlane here. Let's play this clip right here.
Or say nothing at all, as he's been trying to get the story out of the news. But you have been talking to Epstein survivors and following this very, very closely as well. What have they told you about the First Lady suggesting that they testify publicly? They've been on the Hill. They've been advocating for months, some years.
One Epstein survivor, Daniel Benson, texted to say, that was just bizarre. You know who else didn't know this was coming? The Epstein survivors and the members of Congress who've been championing transparency on this, and the attorneys representing the Epstein survivors. If there is a desire by the First Lady for the Epstein survivors to be heard, they would have liked to have been heard before she spoke. Because, yeah, they're keen on talking to Congress, but there's some concerns there about will there be some legal exposure involved with that? Is the setting and the environment and the topic correct? And First Lady need not tell Congress what to do from Congress's perspective. They know what they want to have hearings on. They don't need the White House's authorization to have a hearing on this. And there's a sense here, at least among the survivors, that if you're going to pawn this off on Congress to have a hearing with the survivors, you are disclaiming any responsibility for letting out the records you still have yet to let out from the files.
And here's how they were talking about it on Fox State Regime Media, where one of their hosts is like, we're not really sure why she did this. This kind of came out of nowhere. Now everybody's talking about the Epstein files again. And she was front and center. Here, play this clip.
This came out of left field for us here covering the White House. Press Shop did not give us any insight into what this announcement would be about. That's typical. Oftentimes the First Lady doesn't share a lot of details with the White House communications shop that covers the president on what her announcements might be. We didn't, for instance, get a lot of details ahead of her prior announcement on her efforts bringing home Ukrainian children. But similarly, we had no heads up on this. We're not getting any information from them now, including whether or not the president was aware she would be making this statement. It's unclear to us if she is reacting to something or that's already happened, already come out, or getting ahead of a story that might be about to drop, but we don't really know. And the content of what she's calling for, this congressional hearing to allow the victims to openly testify about what they witnessed, is new, and it will certainly breathe new life into this story that has in large part not been at the top of the news cycle lately. The attention here has been on other matters.
No, dipshit Donald Duck keeps it far away from the top of the media.
And now here's what Democratic Congressmember Robert Garcia had to say about it all. Let's play the clip of Garcia.
Garcia, top Democrat on the Oversight Committee, he
Garcia,
was instrumental to getting the files such that we have released so far. Obviously, I know there's still a lot of fight to get a lot more. So, Congressman Garcia, do you have any indication about why Melania Trump made these statements that were surprising to all the reporters in the room who expected nothing on this topic? Do you know why she did that now?
We don't. In fact, we were as surprised as everyone else as to why she made these comments today. Why she made these comments, is there information that she may be aware of that we are not? And so, no, it was pretty stunning to actually see these remarks. And I think for us, what was really clear is also the distance she was trying to put herself. I mean, look, just 2 days ago, the acting Attorney General, Todd Blanche, essentially said to the press and to the American public that this investigation was over and that somehow the DOJ was not going to move forward with anything else as it relates to the Epstein files. It's been, of course, the president this
What a fucking train wreck for Trader Mega.
The fact that she comes out and addresses the country in this way and certainly talks about the survivor, I think was pretty stunning. It was certainly pushing away from what the White House has been doing. But look, I also think what's important here is to be very clear that we've got to refocus this back on the White House cover-up. And at the end of the day, it's President Trump that's been leading that. Pam Bondi, who still want to testify, who's been waiting at. So those are the issues that we've got to focus on moving forward.
And President Trump, of course, for months and months and months and months refused to put any of the files out, and Amy agreed to do so when it was clear that it would be an overwhelming bipartisan vote in Congress to force him to do so.
Now let's go back and talk a little bit about Melania's past right now. How her parents got in here on what is derisively referred to by right-wing people as chain migration. Melania's background is shrouded in lots of question marks, and I want to go through some of those question marks right now. So Melania arrives, 1996, she says she goes to the University of Slovenia, and that she got a degree. It turns out that she didn't really get a degree. I think she dropped out after her freshman year. She said she's this superstar model. It doesn't seem that she was like a superstar model. She showed up, she meets Donald Trump. She gets this Einstein visa, I think in like 2001, 2002, an Einstein visa, which is intended for like the people who are the highest level of their careers and the highest level there. In my opinion, did she really get an Einstein visa? Those are questions that we should all ask. She marries Donald Trump a few years later, and then she's able to get her family members here under what the MAC is referred to as chain migration, which is something that they want to ban. I mean, remember that during the campaign, Donald Trump was saying that he was going to hold a press conference and reveal Melania. People had lots of questions about Melania's immigration status when Trump ran the first time in 2015, 2016. Remember, he goes, "Don't worry, I'm going to hold a press conference here." Play this clip.
When they said my wife Melania might have come in illegally, can you believe that one? No. They said, maybe she didn't. Let me tell you one thing. She has got it so documented, so she should have lived in stuff and stuff. That's it. I love it. He said, Melania Trump may have come into our country illegally, and how would that be for Donald Trump to be tried? The only problem is she came in totally legally. All right, but you'll see it in a little while. I said to her, no, let it simmer.
We'll see it in a little while.
Let it go wild, let it simmer, and then let's have a look at this conversation.
I remember when Melania seemingly plagiarized Michelle Obama's speech. Let's play this clip.
We're raised with so many of the same values. Like, you work hard for what you want in life. That your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're gonna do.
My parents impressed on me the values that you work hard for what you want in life. That your word is your bond, and you do what you say and keep your promise.
That you treat people with dignity and respect, even if you don't know them, and even if you don't agree with them.
That you treat people with respect. They taught and showed me values and morals in their daily life.
And then you had Melania also talking about, like when Donald Trump, the audio of Donald Trump saying he grabs women by their genitals because he's rich and you get away with it. Melania said, "Oh, that's locker room talk. That's just locker room talk." I remember that she said that. Here, play this clip.
He described it as locker room talk. To you, you sort of alluded to that as well. Is that what it is to you, just locker room talk?
Yeah, it's kind of two teenage boys. Actually, they should behave better, right?
He was 59.
Correct. And sometimes I said, I have two boys at home. I have my young son and I have my husband.
And then recently, Melania referred to herself as a visionary. With that as her background, she described herself as "I'm a visionary," which is a weird thing to say. Play this clip.
As a visionary, I know success
Fucking calls
is not
herself a
going
visionary.
overnight,
Oh my
but
god.
rather take shape after a long and sometimes challenging process. Often alone at the top, I follow my
I already
passion,
fed you.
listen to my instinct,
I
and
already fed
always
you.
maintain a laser focus. In solitude, my creative
I
mind
already fed you.
dances, feeling my imagination.
Go get some water or something.
Attention to
some water.
detail demanding schedules, and multitasking are everyday realities when building towards success. The principle resonates across all my roles as a mother, humanitarian, philanthropist, and entrepreneur. As well as with my new film, where I shaped its creative direction, served as a producer, managed post-production, and activated the marketing campaign.
Has to look down the whole goddamn time she fucking.
Her movie Milani was just a total and utter failure. I don't even think it told the real story of her. I think there's lots of gaps in it. We'll just say that that should still be explored. You have lots of people asking about Melania's background. Think about Melania right now as well. What has she been doing? The Melania meme coin, which is an utter failure, and so many people lost money in the Melania meme coin. She's out there selling all these like weird stuff on her Melania website. I remember that.
Oh Jesus Christ! Of course she's got a fucking website too.
Action committees would fund like
Jesus
Melania's, hair and makeup and all.
Oh yeah, she wants to be a little fucking Kylie fucking Jenner.
As they should. It's a front and center issue. We have lots of questions. We've always been talking about it here on the Midas Network. We're going to keep pursuing it. Everybody hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. And thanks everybody for watching.
Oh, I gotta get the fuck out of here.